Yeah, the work that we have been doing up to now is for the Resembid project, which is assessing the resilience of corals using thermal tolerance experiments and disease history. Some of them have been exposed to disease and have gotten this disease, and others have been exposed to the disease but did not get the disease. And so we're interested in looking at how these two different groups of corals are going to fare under different temperatures and climate change.
So far, we've measured the thermal tolerance of 8 genotypes. We transplanted further out onto the reef the genotypes that were the most tolerant to high temperatures. And so they've been out there on the reef growing on their nursery sites for the last 10 months or so. Quite obvious so far is the relative success of this transplantation to prior transplantations here on Little Cayman. And I believe that's due to the depth that we transplanted them to. So we've been putting corals out to about 70 to 75 feet of water. In contrast, most of the past transplants have been to shallower water, and there's very little success at that depth. So we go out and we measure every single individual, and surprisingly, most of them have grown quite significantly.
What we found is that actually the corals that are showing signs of disease in our common garden experiment are the opposite to those that were showing the highest tolerance to temperature. So basically there seems to be a trade-off between having disease resistance and having temperature tolerance.
Restoration might be better focused on maximizing the diversity of genotypes in outplanting. So we outplanted almost 150 corals yesterday at 5 different locations, so that we hopefully have a winner for every situation out there.
The next step of this project is we're going to monitor the 5 coral reef sites that we just repopulated with our genetically diverse coral gardens, and we're going to make sure that they do well, and we're going to write a restoration handbook that will be distributed locally and also regionally to other restoration practitioners to help them maximize their success and utilize some of the information that we have gained from this project.
We should all care about coral reefs because they're first incredible reservoirs of biodiversity. A large proportion of the diversity in the ocean lives only on coral reefs, and coral reefs cover only a tiny, tiny fraction of the seafloor of the ocean. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is not particularly save the corals, but restore their role in the ecosystem, because the concern is not the loss of coral species, but instead the loss of all the other animals that inhabit the reef.